Hollywood horror show in a place called Snow Camp, North Carolina. I had never heard about this place. He had never heard about this place, but it's about 2 hours away from where I live in Newton. We ate at a little place called Chris's. An experience. Yeah. But when we got out here, people are starting to park and they're getting really excited. The lines are starting. We saw Pennywise the Clown walking around. The legit looking Pennywise the Clown. It looks really cool so far. Talked to a couple people, but I think it's gonna be fun. I've got my buddy Tim Ashe with me here.
How's it going, guys?
And yeah, so we're gonna check everything out. We're gonna go through. We'll probably do some interviews, talk to some people here after we do our walkthrough. But it looks really cool. This was rated the #1 scariest haunted attraction by the Travel Channel, and it's the only Hollywood produced haunted attraction. And what I mean by that is it's the only haunted attraction produced by 2 actual Hollywood producers. So you've got, Hollywood level production values here. A lot of money goes into this, and I'm expecting a lot from it, and I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. On the way down, I was talking with Tim. Tim has not been at a haunted attraction since he was like a kid. Tiny kid. So, how do you feel about this?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm usually more of a goofy type person for those that know me. So I'm really looking to get a good scream. I don't scare easy. So hopefully they're behind their game tonight.
I think they will be.
I think they will.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go do some shots. We're gonna go in, and next time you see us, it will be after we get out, and we'll be telling you what we think. So see you guys after the break.
See ya.
So we're hanging out, walking around, checking out stuff till they start letting people in. We just went over to the museum, which was absolutely insane.
Wow.
Right? There was some crazy stuff in there. The Emmy Award that he won, and a bunch of the makeup that he did, a bunch of signed 8x10s from actors he worked with. It's pretty insane. There's a lot of people lined up. Tim was just commenting on how many people.
There's a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, a lot of people. Luckily, we're going fast pass. Thanks. And we don't have to wait in that line. But yeah, so it should be opening up pretty soon. Line's starting to get kind of long. I think we're gonna skedaddle over to the fast pass line.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
It was a graveyard smash.
was not and got his face over the I've been trying to examine everything. Yes! No!
All they got is xenomorph up here. All right, so we just got out of the original Hollywood horror show. So we just went through. I thought it was pretty awesome. Straight off the bat, there's a lot of detail. You can tell why they call it the original Hollywood horror show, because it does seem very Hollywood with individual set pieces, lots of detail. The actors were very exact on what they did, and you can tell that they were trained and to put into that position. What are you thinking?
I thought it was pretty well. There's a couple of spots where, if you're towards the rear of the line, you miss steps and stuff, so you just want to be a little careful. I mean, overall it was okay. I had a few scares myself, which is surprising. But I've seen there's a lot of light spots throughout the attraction that could have been dimmer and cause get that more about that scare jump.
Right, and I do agree. There are some spots where they are very lit up, and I could be wrong, but I think it's because of the amount of detail on the makeup and stuff. I think if they put a lot of the darkness in there, you might not see that detail, because I mean I'm sure you would agree. Like with the makeup on the face, it wasn't just like a mask. Like it was like paint, and that could be.
Yeah, the detail really put the scare behind it as well. It wasn't just the loud noises in the dark. It was the actual characters coming at you. That intensified it.
Yeah, and there is definitely stuff that I saw here that I never saw anywhere else. One of them being the actual pirate ship that you go into. You actually go through a pirate ship, and it's not like a stage that's set up to look like a pirate ship. Like you're actually on a ship, and there's water and everything around it.
Yeah, that was very neat.
Yeah, it was very cool. You're actually on it. On a pirate ship, which was really cool. I felt like you go and you see a lot of stuff walking through. I think they said, about 35-minute walk, something like that. You see original stuff like the pirate ship and the ghost pirates. You see stuff like Freddy. You see stuff like Jason. Pinhead's Vortex. Yep. Really cool.
Very cool. Yeah. There's a lot of different scenes, as you would say, in the Hollywood experience captured here. At the haunted show. I mean, they have, like you were saying, they have a little bit of everything here and there. I mean, it's just a great experience.
Yeah, it really is. And Tim had brought up a good point about how when you're in line, they have a lot of things to entertain you, like the shows. With like the Sanderson sisters, they have like some zombies doing the Thriller dance. They have the Monster Mash, stuff like that. That's actually pretty entertaining. And then they have like a projector and TV showing the documentaries about this place and the people that are behind it, the producers. So yeah, Tim had a good point there about keeping you occupied and entertained while you're waiting.
Yeah, it's a constant interaction. He was mentioning the shows. I mean, they go a little further than that. They have like the Sanderson sisters. They have Pennywise walking around and just interacting with people as they wait, because it's a big attraction and there's a lot of people here. So they keep people on edge before they actually enter in. So they keep that mood going. It's very great.
Yeah, and it seems like the lines move fairly quick. They're staying full, but the groups are seeming to go pretty quick. You have a guide at the front and the back that keep you going at a good pace, but they don't go so fast that you miss stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I really dug it. I like how at this place, it really personifies the name of Hollywood.
Yeah.
this isn't a backwoods or a local regional style level hunt, I don't believe. Where you see stuff made with pallets and stuff, which I do love those kind of things. But this is definitely high quality. You can tell some money and some time has went into this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a really good high experience hunt, I definitely say check this hunt out. Like I said, it's high experience. It's not what you're going to be used to.
Yeah.
Any closing words?
I mean, and for tickets wise, you know, if you don't reach out to them, you know, beforehand, I believe they start serving tickets about 8 o'clock and they stop about midnight.
Yeah.
And there is also, like, if you bring your kids and stuff, if something was to happen, they do allow them to step off the set and stuff like that. So it's to a point, it's definitely family friendly.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, it was a little bit of a drive for me, but I think it was worth the drive.
Absolutely worth the drive.
Yeah. And side note, if you guys need something to eat right down the road, there's a place called Chris's.
Wonderful food.
Wonderful food.
Yeah.
Now the burgers were pretty good. Place hasn't been swept in a while.
Yeah,
But
appetizers on the floor.
Appetizers on the floor.
yeah, yes, there was a hush puppy on the floor with cheese on top of it. But yeah, food like Mama used to make.
Yeah. Definitely mom and pop. It was definitely a good experience coming here, going there and then coming here.
Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, and it's the closest food place.
Yeah,
we
literally.
checked. Yeah, we checked. So, but yeah, I had a great time. I'm glad Tim was able to go with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Wonderful
going.
time. Thank you for
Appreciate
inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. I give it 2 giant monster thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
See you guys.
I'm here with Starr Jones, one half of the guys behind everything that we've been showing so far. Starr, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So just tell me a little bit about what you guys do here.
Well, this is a haunted attraction that's pretty elaborate. It's been in existence this year 30 years. Dean and I primarily work in the film industry, and we've been doing that probably almost 38 years. We've now moved in the producing and directing side of things, but we started out as makeup artists. And this was born out of just for fun years ago. We had done haunted houses for other people growing up, and we had some time between movies, and I said, let's do a haunted house. So I came back from Los Angeles to try to find a place to do a haunted attraction, and this is going to be a one-time event just for fun.
Right.
And it went really well, and here we are 30 years later.
Gotcha. So when you started in 1989, right? Started in 1989, decided it was going to be a one-year thing. What made you decide to come back and continue it?
Well, the folks that came that first year were really enthused by what they saw. Because what we did, we brought everything that we had in film that we'd made back and put it on display for the show.
Gotcha.
So it was the first time that people had gotten to see things that have been used in movies up close. And it was a small event at that time, but we drew a pretty good crowd, and it was such a great response. Everybody said, "You're going to do this again next year, aren't you?" So we considered it, and next year we did it. Okay, let's do it again. So it just snowballed from there.
Gotcha. So, we went through it, we loved it, saw the attention to detail and how much and how large the place is. Obviously, it takes a lot of work. At what point of the year do you start gearing up for the holiday season?
Well, we actually think about the next season while we're doing the current season.
Gotcha.
And we try to plan, and usually we start about 4 to 5 months ahead of time, either trying to develop new areas or rearranging or redecorating certain venues and scenarios that we have. So we think about it all year, and we spend about half a year doing what we thought about doing. So.
Right. How much of the attraction each year carries over, and how much is new, percentage-wise, you think?
Well, it varies from year to year depending on how busy we are, because we still work in the industry, so we have to take some time away from that to devote to this. This year being 30 years, we've changed quite a bit and added, and we also like to add something every year. It may not be, half the attraction, but we try to do a good portion of it.
Gotcha.
And we also try to redress rooms and add characters, so there's something to see every year. And the odd thing about it is, if you come to the show, you go through the show, but there may be things that you saw and you'll come next year and you say, I don't remember that. I said, well, that was here last year, and so there's so much to see you can't
Right.
take it all in. So,
Absolutely. With a town like Snow Camp, I'll be honest, we had never even heard of it until
Right.
we looked it up. So why did you choose Snow Camp for this?
well, quite honestly, because it was a great location.
right.
The first year I was here, I came back and looked for a place to do it for about 3 weeks. We found a location that was great for parking, but the facility itself wasn't any good.
Right.
Or the facility's good, there's nowhere to park. So we discovered this place, which has been sitting empty for several years. It's out secluded, it's kind of spooky anyway.
Right.
It's secluded, has lots of property around it. We had room to expand and room to park. So we decided, let's do it here. And like I said, the first year it was owned by another company, and it had been sitting dormant for probably 12 to 15 years.
Right.
So we said, hey, we'd like to put a haunted attraction on there. So we spoke to them and they said, okay, we made an agreement. And then a few years later, it came up on the market. So we took it over.
Gotcha. So we noticed walking through that there's a lot of different structures on here. What percentage do you think was existing structures that you've had, and what percentage is stuff that you've completely added on new?
Excuse me, someone's knocking on the door.
It's okay.
Hold on.
No problem. Go ahead. Just keep rolling.
What? Don't interview. Don't interview. Who's knocking? Ask whoever it is to stop. I don't know who's banging. Well, go step in and ask him to stop. Open the door and ask him. We're doing an interview. Thank you.
Those aren't real friends. Sorry. That's okay. No problem.
All right, where are we at?
Okay, so walking through, we noticed it's a huge attraction.
Right.
And some of it, especially like the building up toward the front where you first walk in, looks like it's been there a while.
Right.
How much of the attraction was already here when you started, and how much did you actually add?
Okay, several of the buildings were here in existence when we began. They were mostly empty. They were just big rooms.
Right.
So we put a lot of the doorways and walls in, and then we started building structures after that.
Gotcha.
It's a little over 10,000 square foot between inside and outside.
Gotcha.
And like I said, we built the Pirate Village, which is a whole new addition. We built the ship, we built the Temple Maze, plus the structures that have been added on since then. So I'd say we probably, about half of it's been built. You know, the property has been expanded since we've been here. So it's about half and half.
Gotcha. So we'll move just a little bit briefly to you as like what you're doing now. With you
Right.
saying you're producing and directing.
Right.
What is the most recent project you're working on?
Well, we shot a film about a year and a half ago here in Alamance County called Dark Awakening, and we're actually prepping for another film now that we hope to start shooting after the show is over. I do commercials and TV shows and stuff as well. And sometimes I travel back to LA and do work.
Right.
So it goes up and down. I mean, I go to Atlanta some and work. So it's, you know, I just try to keep busy. I try to develop my own projects so I can stay in North Carolina and work because I like being here.
Absolutely.
And my family's here, and I get to sleep in my own bed, which is a plus.
Gotcha.
So,
I looked over your IMDb credits, obviously, and looked at the stuff that you've worked on. Is there something that you've worked on that you were like, this is my favorite thing I've ever worked on, this is my pride and joy right now?
well, I mean, it's been a lot of things, so it's hard to pick one thing.
Right.
You know, early on in my career, I got to work on a really big budget show, which was a lot of fun, called The Abyss, which was one of my first big features I was ever on. It was a multi-million-dollar movie, and it was probably, you know, 250, 300 crew people on that. And
Right.
I was on it for 6 months. So, and I'd just been in the industry probably about 3 years. So that was really exciting to get that. And of course the Star Trek shows and the Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff. So, everything, because all the projects are different, everything's unique and something fun about everything you do.
Absolutely. All right, I won't hold you up too much longer. I know you're busy. You've got a
okay.
lot of stuff going on. It's the hot season. Just tell me, what do you think is the hardest thing about doing this haunted attraction?
Wow, that's a big question because every facet of it is kind of labor intensive.
Right.
Everything from finding the actors and people in the show, building the sets, new wardrobe, new makeup, because we create new makeups every year for the show. We repair makeups, concessions in the museum is just, there's a whole myriad of things that has to happen. And a lot of people are involved in putting this show together.
Right.
fortunately, we have a lot of people who come back and work with us every year to help put it on, which is a great thing. Because it's become a tradition. I mean, I'm showing my age, but you know, I now have people that show up that have their 12-year-old kids with them that were kids when they first came here.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting that. But it's just a challenge, I guess, to reinvent yourself a little every year. It's hard to a facility of this size to change everything every year because it's just too cost intensive and labor intensive to try to tear everything out and rebuild the whole everything from ground up. Because a lot of the structures we hear are permanent structures. They're meant to be that way, to be here year after year. But we try as best we can to make it beautiful for people. And like I said, we do have folks that come every year that have been coming for 10, 15, 20 years and come back. It's their annual tradition to come here for the Halloween season.
So you've been here 30 years. How long do you want to keep going?
That's a good question. I guess as long as people will come see the show and I'm up to doing it. I do have a couple of kids. I'm not sure if they're going to want to pursue it after I'm too old to do it, but we'll see what happens. But you know, I think I got another 15, 20 years in me, I hope. So maybe at least that long.
Well, Starr, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you.